What's happening, traders? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be running through the Fib strat, a very simple Fibonacci strategy that you can use to find some pips on the charts pretty much every single day. Let's go. Just quickly, I forgot to mention we are using the S&P 500 for this example. It does work on all pairs, but I found the S&P 500 works very well, so we're going to be using that here. So we're on to the charts, and here is a great example of the strategy that we're going to be looking at. Today we're going to look at this example, and then we're going to go back in time, and we're going to do some forward testing, some simulation testing to find some examples for you, so you can see how it works as we sort of go in a semi-live situation where we go through in time and see if we can catch some setups. So if you have a look at the chart here, we can see that we have a liquidity grab. Now, this strategy can work any time of the day, okay, but ideally, usually the best time is in the afternoon into the New York session. Setups do appear in the London session, and they can appear a lot of the time, but there's a couple of things you need to keep in mind. You need to keep in mind that you want a liquidity grab, you want to break a structure, you ideally want to be going with the trend of the day or the last 2 days, and you just want to make sure you have your stop in a certain place and our TP in a certain place. So also you're going to need the Fibonacci tool. If you don't know what the Fibonacci tool is, it's this tool here on the left. In fact, it looks like this, okay, up here on the bar. And what you can do is draw it in, and if you draw it in and you have a stock or default Fibonacci, it's going to look very different to mine. Mine's been modified with different colors. I've taken away some of the lines, etc. But what you can do is you can go into the settings of the Fibonacci, and you can change those all here. Okay, so if you want to make yours look like mine, change the colors, you can just look at this right now, and then yours will look the same. But usually when it's default, it has all of these, and it's all very cluttered. You do need some people use them all, but for this, you just need these ones set up. So going back to the example, what we have is we have a liquidity grab off the top of these highs here. Okay, now we've already had a bit of a liquidity grab off of the Asia highs with this move, but this one was a better one, and this is actually from the 230 candle or the New York Stock Exchange open. Okay, and although it's very minuscule, this candle does break just above the top of this candle with a liquidity grab, and then after that turn around, have a sharp displacement down, and we have broken structure. So in that case, what we would be looking for then is for price to come up to the 618 and the 07 marker. Now the 618 can be your entry. Okay, and at this point you usually get around a 2 to 3 risk to reward ratio, which is obviously great. That means that you'd only need about a 50% hit rate for you to be profitable. The 70%, sorry, 0.70 actually gives you a 3.2, which is even better. And then there are other Fibonacci's up here as well. Now, one tip that I have found that works very well with this, and also if you've been following the channel for a while, you know we have a certain supply and demand strategy, is to look for fair value gaps in the area or the displacement that you're looking for. Now, if I just cut back time so we don't get moved away, and I go down to the 1 minute chart, I haven't actually checked this, but if we look for the fair value gaps here, we can see that in this displacement on the 1 minute, we have a fair value gap right here. Okay, now if we play price out, and let's see if price comes and takes that fair value gap out before turning around. Yes, it does. Okay, now this could also be seen as a pretty simple, you know, this is a supply zone, this could be a supply setup, and you could also look at it that way. Now, if you want to look at the supply and demand setup strategy that we use on the channel, there is a video in the list, so go check that out. But you can see that we came up, we took out all that fair value gap. Now, what you could be looking for here is an entry off the 618, and sometimes price does just fall straight from the 618, or it pushes up a little bit and then comes back down, hence why we have our stop loss at the very top of the high. Okay, so you can have two choices there. You can either enter straight on the 618 for a 2.3, you can enter on the 0.7 for a better risk to reward, but sometimes price doesn't always get there, or you can also be patient and look for a entry on the fair value gap after the fill. Or you can take an entry on one of these and then take a second entry with a better risk to reward if you feel like the trade is looking very good. Then what you're going to look for is our target is a 0.27. Okay, and we'll just let price play out, and obviously we saw that this one worked out beautifully and price continued to the downside. So that is the strategy right there. Okay, you need your Fibonacci. We're looking for a liquidity grab, then we're after the liquidity grab looking for a breaker structure, ideally in the direction of the last day or two, and then we're looking for an entry from either the 618, the 7, or a fair value gap up in the zone. Okay, likely the most extreme fair value gap, because you can see here we got taken out and then price pushed down. So what we're going to do now is go back in time. Okay, and I'm going to zoom up here and we're going to go back in time. Let's find the beginning of a week. Let's go back to somewhere. That's a Friday. There we go, a Monday here. So we're going to cut time here. We'll cut time about 6 a.m. and then what we're going to do is we're going to look through the charts, play it through and see if we can find any opportunities. Now, one thing to note is that this actually does work on any time frame. I'm going to be using the 15-minute time frame for this strategy today, but you can find them on the 5-minute, the 1-minute, even the 1 hour, whatever. But today we're going to be looking at the 15-minute only. All right, so let's go down to the chart and we'll get into this right now. After the video, don't forget to go check out our store. Here you can find all our trade inspired clothing. This really helps support the channel and also gets you looking and feeling good while you're on the charts. Now we're jumping onto the charts, and what we're going to be doing is playing price forward and trying to find opportunities. Okay, so looking at this, we can see that we've had a bit of an upward trend for a while. Okay, we've had a large upward trend with a new higher high, new higher low, new higher high. We've also had a minor new upward trend, obviously going in that direction. Then we've had a bit of a change of that character, and now we're looking at new lower lows, new lower highs, lower low, lower high, etc. So we could be looking for sales on the next few days, but we just have to see how price sort of shows itself as we go forward. Now these set strategies don't necessarily show themselves every single day. Okay, did we have a liquidity grab there? No, that is equal highs. So we just got to be patient to see if we do get a trade or not. Okay. Now, like you should know, not everything in trading happens every time. If it did, then everyone would be very rich. So we're just looking for opportunities where we can take advantage of our situations. That is at 2 equal highs there, so it doesn't really count for me. Okay. We need a liquidity grab. That's what we're looking for. Now, this could be interesting because I can see that we have a very small liquidity grab there, maybe a pixel or so. So let's see what we get. We also get a strong displacement, which is always a good sign, okay? And we've had a breaker structure now, so we've got two things lined up. A bit of a liquidity grab off of here, and maybe just like a touch off at the top there. Then a nice push down breaking structure in the direction that we're looking for. So now we're going to wait to see if we find a bottom and look to see where price starts to turn around here. So let's draw in our first fib and see if we can come up to our zone and entry. Now what I'm going to do on this strategy is I'm just going to go off the 618 because then it's just a little bit easier. So if we do get a tap onto that 618, which we just did there, as you can see, we're going to take the entry, stop is going to go to our high, okay, and our target is going to be at the 027. So we're going to play price out. Now we can see price is pushing up a little bit, turning around. Wow. Okay. There we go. Super nice trade there. Price pushed up. We actually took out this fair value gap on the 15-minute. Now there may be some on the higher time frames. I'm not going to look at them. But as you can see, we had a nice entry off the 618. We could have also entered off the 07 for a better risk to reward. Then price has turned around and absolutely melted down to our TP. So that's the first example there, and a nice one as well. So we'll move on. I'll just tidy this up, and then we shall see what the next day holds. Now normally you're probably going to get one of these a day or so. Wow. Now if you'd left a runner potentially, if you hadn't taken your full TP, price could continue there, but we're just looking for 027. Okay, but as I say, sometimes we only find maybe one opportunity a day on this chart, because obviously we're trading the 15-minute chart, so there's not so many candles in the day. Now we've had a liquidity grab here. Now this is obviously a second, getting a bit later on in the day, so we just have to wait and see what we get, likely moving into the next day. So just playing price through until I see something that is looking favorable. Haven't liquidity grabbed. There's no liquidity grab here either, so for me there's nothing to take at the moment. Just zoom a little bit. Okay, so we've had a bit of a liquidity grab off of this high and here. Now, if we can get a move down, we could potentially now that we've actually broken the structure here, we've actually had a bit of breaker structure here as well. Well, minor, the major structure's here, and we've closed below it. We could potentially draw in a fib. So let's see if we get a turnaround. Big move down now. Now, this isn't my main strategy, but it's one that I like to use if I see it line up. Now, obviously here, we didn't get an entry. We had a liquidity grab, but prices just absolutely rocketed down. We could still come around, though, okay? It's not to say that we can't take a trade. If we're going to turn around here, then we could look for potential for price to enter, okay? Because we've had a liquidity grab. We've had a big breaker structure. This would be a pretty big trade. But let's see if we do play out. We haven't got the 618 yet. Okay, so price is absolutely shot up there. Let's say we did enter on the 70 today. No, we're going to go 618. I said I'd do 618. We'll stay on the 618. Stop loss above here. Stop to go down here. Now let's see how this plays out. Looking great. Doesn't mean we're over yet. Now this trade could also go over a swing point. Now usually for me in trading I don't do that. If we did get down to this point around the end of the day, I'd probably take the profit. But let's see, price is probably going to maybe continue down now. And yeah, we could have held that trade all the way through to the next day, down to that 2.7. All right, so we're probably going to look for one more opportunity, and then maybe look for a buying opportunity. I'll try and find one of those, and yeah, we haven't had any buying opportunities just yet. Trying to see if we had one here. Maybe, but we're going against the overall trend here, so probably not what we want to do. So we'll move on to the next day. I'll tidy this one up again. And then we'll skip price on and see what we can find. Right, so probably going to move on to the next day now. Okay, so we've had a bit of liquidity grab there. Okay, we're obviously still moving down. Quick liquidity grab off the top here. We are getting, it's 130, so this is going to be into the New York session for us, which is always a good sign. Okay, so we didn't get a push down there. We actually had a liquidity grab off of the bottom here, but we didn't break any structure. I don't count this as a breaker structure. The price was still sort of in that movement on the way down, so there was no trade there, and we didn't get a breaker structure to get the entry, so no problem there. Now, this is looking quite interesting. We've had the liquidity grab here, and then the push up. This isn't a liquidity grab, obviously, because there's nothing we haven't grabbed anything, maybe off of here, but meh. So I'm probably not going to take this one as a buy, although it looks like it could have played out quite nicely. So here you had that liquidity grab. This didn't count as the move, but we did have a big impulse after that. So if we'd have drawn in from the low to the high, had we got to our full TP, yes, we had a nice pullback into the zones, price pushed up, and we would have got our full TP. I didn't take that one because I didn't really like the look of it. But if you do get that big move afterwards with a liquidity grab and a change of direction in the trend, because we have broken structure after this one, then, you know, potentially that could be a nice trade, and it did work out to be one. But we're going to stay patient and we're going to keep moving. I'm going to delete that one for now because we didn't take it, and see what we can get, if anything else. So we're into the new day now. Asia range is there. By the way, this indicates the Asia range. This is a strategy that I use pretty much every day, but that is another video, and if you want to check that out, that is also on the channel. So moving forward, nice big bearish move in the Asia range there. Okay, so we've had a liquidity grab here after a move. Now this is obviously the London session, so let's see if we can get something. We had a little liquidity grab off of here. Let's draw in our fib. We're turning around, so let's see if we touch into that 618. Okay, going to count. Let's see if I'm accurate enough, that's actually going to touch. Okay, that is not quite the touch there that I was looking for. There's the touch. So let's see if this trade works out or not. Stop loss is going to go down here. We've done pretty well so far, and there we go. Beautiful. So liquidity grab, a big move down which broke structure. Okay, we then came up. This didn't count as an entry for me, didn't tap it. We then did tap it, and we pushed down. Now you can see if you were looking for a 70 entry, then obviously you wouldn't have got tagged in, and you missed the trade. So that's why I like to go for the 618, just because that is usually the one that gets tagged. A little less risk to reward, but sometimes price just pushes up and you could potentially just get an entry up here anyway because you've taken that 618 out. But anyway, that's great. 3 for 3. Maybe would have been 4 if we've looked at that buy trade, but it didn't look so good. But that was a good opportunity or example of a buying situation. So maybe we'll just go forward again and see if we can find any buying situations now rather than selling. If I do find one of those, then I'll come back with that in a second, I think, because I'd like to show that as an example as well. So let's see if we can find one. When I find one, I'll come back. Alright guys, so there's potential one here. This is in the London session. This is into the New York session. We've had a liquidity grab off the bottom of the Asia range here and taking out this liquidity, and this liquidity. We then had a big nice move up, breaking structure here. So we broke minor structure here. So I'm going to draw on the fib and see if we get a tag in. We haven't tagged in yet. We just literally missed it. So as I say, we're going to be very accurate with our entries. Just got tagged in there. Okay, so we can now draw it from, let's say we did get into the 618. Stop is there, stop is there. We've had a push down, probably taking out that fair value gap there and maybe whatever. Let's see if we get a continuation to the upside now. There we go. Beautiful. So yeah, really nice, simple liquidity grab off Asia lows. We then had the New York volume coming in, pushing up, breaking some structure. Okay, and then we had a tag into the 618, stop loss below the low, and price has just rocketed up after that with New York volume. So that's the strategy, really. Pretty simple stuff. It can work any time of the day. New York's volume is very good. London volume can also be very good if you're looking around the reaction off of the Asia range. But it's super simple and it works very nicely. So if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'd like to know what you think about this strategy, and if you guys want to show me your examples, you can join our Discord. The link is also down at the bottom there, and you can post your examples of your trades before and after or live, whatever you want to do, and we can look at those together. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found it informative. Just a quick video on this strategy, as I know some of you wanted it. And yeah, happy trading, guys. Check out the links below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.